In RTS games, or pretty much any game where the player issues commands to units, we want to tell the player that, hey, you clicked this spot, usually using some kind of visual feedback with a little indicator like this. In this video, we're going to look at one way that we can do that with a simple shader using ShaderGraph. Hey, Chris here from LlamAcademy. Here to help you.
Who, me?
Yes, you! Make your game dev dreams become a reality by helping you add some small things to your game to help it feel more complete. What we'll be covering today is a really simple shader that we procedurally generate a circle and just collapse it in over time. We're going to do that procedurally instead of using a texture, because if you shrink down a texture, the width of the circle gets smaller as you shrink it. And sure, you could use a sprite sheet or something like that, but that takes up some texture memory, and this is really not that hard. In fact, if you've never written a shader before, I think you're going to be able to follow along pretty easily. Based on the time that we click, which we'll pass to the shader with a really simple script, we're going to subtract the current time and just shrink down that ellipse or that circle until it doesn't show up at all anymore. Seems pretty straightforward, right? Before we jump in, I do want to let you know that this is one video in a series or a collection of videos where I'll be covering a bunch of different mechanics implemented in a microgame, Chicken Defense. This is fully open source. You can download the full project today off from GitHub for free. You can also play it for free on itch. I had a lot of fun making this microgame, and there's even challenges on GitHub to help you solidify your understanding of some of these concepts. I'm going to have links in the description to both the game and the GitHub repo. Now let's get started. First of all, you're going to need a quad. I named this thing click icon. You can just do right click, 3D object, quad. It's going to give you basically this. I shrunk it down a little bit and made it face down as well. Turn off cast shadows and assign it a new material called click indicator. Then in your shaders folder or anywhere you really want in your project, you can right click, create ShaderGraph. And this works the same URP built in, whatever you want really. I'm going to use URP lit ShaderGraph. We'll call it click effect. If you double click on that, it'll open up your ShaderGraph window. Double click on that and we'll maximize it. In your graph inspector, which if you don't have it, you can just click this button at the top right, graph inspector. You're going to want to make sure that we change the surface type to transparent and we change render face to both. We probably also don't want to cast or receive shadows, so we can turn both of those off. Now in our master stack here, we're only going to be using the fragment section because that's how we control the color at each pixel. We're going to be using the emission, base color, and alpha. We'll turn off smoothness and ambient occlusion, and the core of our effect is going to be an ellipse. So if we just press space, we can create a node and type ellipse to filter. There's procedural shape ellipse. Now this gives us a circle because we're going to keep the width and height to be the same. So if you were to just drag this to your base color and alpha, we would just get this circle. I'm going to try something. We have this main preview. I'm going to change that to a quad so we can see the circle and move that over a little bit so we can keep it in sight. This thing doesn't work a lot of the time for me, but we'll try it out. And if we were to adjust the width and height to be 1, we'll see that it takes up the full size of our UV square here. But we don't want this. We want it to have a cutout in the middle. So we can do that simply by subtracting another ellipse from this one. We can just copy paste our node, reduce the size something like 0.8, and subtract the second one from the top one. And we'll see here, we're getting what's going to get cut out is everything in white. So boom, we have only the overlapping area here. Our main preview doesn't show that very well. This thing actually almost never works for me. I'm just going to turn it off. But this looks pretty good so far. What we're going to want to do though is control the thickness of this in the inspector. That'd be convenient. And we're going to want it to animate over time. So let's add in the blackboard a float thickness and a float speed. On the thickness, we can configure it to be a slider from 0 to 1 with a default of something like 0.2. So we just drag in that thickness and we're going to have it controlled by some speed. So we're going to handle that in a second. We're going to add in some value and take that to be the bottom one. And we're going to add this value with thickness again. So we have something that as we increase here, it grows, and as we reduce it, it goes down to nothing. Though it's important to note that if we go too far negative, we can see in these two ellipses that it gets large again. So we're going to want to clamp this once we get to 0. There's also one other problem we can see here. The other thing we can see is around here, we can see that it's cut off. So we're going to want to make sure that we only do this effect inside of another ellipse to prevent us from having a weird cutoff because we're rendering this onto a quad. Let's take a new ellipse and set it to be size 1, and let's multiply that with the output of this subtract. So we can see it'll only show up once we hit inside this other ellipse. It's effectively a mask. And let's take this multiply to a clamp or a saturate to make sure we never go to negative numbers. Now I've got too many things open, so let's collapse some of this stuff. And we're probably also going to want to color this. So let's go ahead and add in the blackboard a color. We'll just call it color. Maybe we can make it HDR so it can go into the emission. And I'm going to choose this orange color by default. Maybe make it slightly more intense. We can just multiply the color and the saturate. And take that to base color emission in alpha. I like color to be on top, so we'll rearrange that in the blackboard as well. Cool. With a little bit of rearranging, this can look pretty nice. The only thing really left to do here is control this number here that gets added in here so we can animate this over time. So we're going to need to do that with a script, but we need a float to control it. So let's add a new float called click time. And if you don't name it exactly like this, importantly, you're going to need this reference string in a little bit. So keep note of whatever you called it, including the underscore. All we need to do here is assign the click time in a script and subtract the current time from this. Multiply that with the speed so we can make it go faster or slower based on the speed value, which maybe we're going to want to give a default of like 3. And then very importantly, we want to remap this from -1 to 0 to 0 to 1. That probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but let's disconnect time and click time and simulate some values. So over here, we can see subtract is 1, 1. So that's right as we click, it's going to look like this, where we see nothing. Maybe I can zoom out. As we increase time, which is going to naturally happen, we'll see that it's coming from the outside to the inside. Now, if we don't remap this from -1 to 0, because right now you can see we're at around -0.5. If we don't do this and we just take it straight in there, when we first click, we see it's kind of small, and then it goes away very quickly. By doing this, we're taking our inputs. We're saying it can be anywhere from -1 to 0, and we're going to remap that from a 0 to 1 space. That gives us that outside-in animation. And as time goes on infinitely, we will never see it again. Let's hook up time and click time again. Save this asset. In our scene view, we can find our click icon. Change our shader to ShaderGraphs, click effect. So with a 0.2 thickness, speed of 3, and importantly, I set the click time to be a negative number. That's longer than the duration of the animation, because if this thing is in camera when you click play, it'll render because click time and time are 0. So it'll simulate a click effectively. 5 or 10, something like that should probably be enough. Once you've done that, all we need to do is set this click time in a script. So I've got this full game going on here already. So if we just click play, we can see it working. So if I've got a unit and I right click, we're going to see that thing gets put at some location and animates in, and then the llama runs to that spot. And we can see it, if I just right click a whole bunch of times, we can see that it resets and then plays. So how do I do that? Well, I've got my player object here and a player controller that has a reference to this click icon. So in my player controller, we just have a serialized private renderer click icon. And very importantly, we have a private static read-only int click time property that is shader.property2id with that special string, the click time with an underscore. So if you named your something like just click, you'd have underscore click. Again, you can find that in ShaderGraph by selecting your whatever property you want to set in the graph inspector under reference. And this gives us an integer value that makes it much faster to set this property. Now, whenever we right click, that's here. If we right click, we have a unit selected and we hit the floor. This is the key 2 pieces of code that you need. You want to set your render transform position to be your raycast hit point. And then I did a small offset up so it's not clipping with the ground. We set the material float, that click time property, to be the current time. Then the shader handles everything else from there. It's very minimal code that we need. Effectively a check if we right clicked and a raycast from your camera to position it. And then you just set the float using this click icon material set float. So pretty straightforward. We're basically just making 2 different ellipses, subtracting one from the other one, and then a third one to mask in the effect, and then shrink those over time, controlling the width and the height of the 2 animated ones. Again, I would encourage you to play around with this some, see what other cool things you can add into your little effect there to make it your own. And if you got value out of this video, make sure you've liked and subscribed to help the channel grow, reach more people, and add value to more people. Remember, this full project is available on GitHub for free for everyone. The full game is also available on itch for you to try out. I've got links in the description to both of those. If you think this is a really awesome project and you want to show your support, there's a few ways you can do that. First, I've got a ShaderGraph course that I partnered with Game Dev TV on, where we go over all the basics of ShaderGraph and a lot of cool effects. Second, you can get yourself some LlamAcademy merch to rep the channel. Third, you could donate on Itch, or become a supporter on Patreon, or even here on YouTube. If you become a supporter, you'll get your name up here at the end of every video and your name in every repository. You'll get access to a private, exclusive Discord only for those supporters. At the awesome tier, there's Ivan, Iphiobulus, Perry, Mustafa, and Jerematic. There's also all of these great supporters as well. Thank you all for your support. I am so incredibly grateful.